Aunties, you guys, what's up? Happy whatever day it is that you're listening from. I am one of your hosts of Basics and Banter, Sam Fisher, joined by my very special friend,
Haley McClenny.
Halo. We're back, and I don't mean podcast back. I mean college softball season back.
Bro, it's the most wonderful time of the year. I know people
Honestly,
say that about Christmas, and that was like a couple months ago, but
yeah.
this is truly the most wonderful time of the year. We got so many good storylines from week one of college softball. You had Jordy Ball versus Nyjah. You had Oklahoma playing in really close games, which we don't see that very often in the early part of the season. So it was just an awesome weekend. Like a bunch of people, there was a big football game, I guess, this weekend, but like I was glued to the TV watching softball. So
I just all I know about football is that Taylor Swift has just been visiting her little stadiums that she did the Eras tour in. That's all I was aware of.
that's all I was aware of as well. I guess her boyfriend plays football.
That's so cute. She's supporting men in sports.
Yeah, I love that. Good for her. So I mean, somebody's got to support men playing sports.
So we're off to a really hot start here for today's episode.
I'm dead.
Oh gosh, enough about Taylor. Just kidding. Never enough about Taylor. But Super Bowl is one of my actually favorite holidays of the year, mostly because of the food. Like Chips and Dip hate to see me coming.
They hate to see you coming, and you get to wear your Peyton Manning jersey, which is amazing.
Oh, and it's a Colts jersey, you guys. It's not even like his most recent jersey.
Go Colts.
Why don't you tell me, Halo, from your perspective, what stood out? If there was something that you think really stood out over the weekend of all the softball that you watched, of all the scores you saw, did anything in particular stand out to you?
I think what stood out to me the most was the parity. I think it was interesting. Like as I was tracking all of these games and watching different games, I was like, I'm used to watching OU. I'm used to watching Florida. I'm used to watching, obviously, Alabama. I'm used to keeping up with these, like, big, powerhouse programs, Tennessee's. But I found myself, I was like, I'm watching Texas Tech. I'm watching UCF. I'm watching Nebraska. I'm like, not that I never really pay attention. It's just there's an extra level of really, like, elite talent that are playing at schools that we're not really used to. And so I guess that's just kind of the NIL stage that we're in now.
Yeah.
But it was really fun to follow all of those different scores. I mean, the fact that, we got to see Jordy Ball come back from her injury and she threw lights out, and people were they beat Tennessee. They won, I think the final score was 7-1.
Yep.
And everyone was like, oh my gosh, like Nebraska just upset Tennessee. I'm like, are we really calling it an upset if Jordy Ball's in the circle? Like, is that an upset?
That's a good point.
No, that's not an upset. Like, maybe in the rankings, like, sure. But, like, when Jordy Ball's in the circle and she's at her best, they can beat anyone in the country. No doubt about that. So it was really cool to see her. And just when we got to talk to her, like, all of the stuff that she went through about taking a break after she transferred from Oklahoma, coming back from the ACL, for her to come back, and it looked to me like she was having fun, she was free, she was just doing her thing. That was really cool to see. So I think that was probably like my favorite part of the weekend.
That's such a good answer. Oh my gosh. And you know what? Like when you're talking and thinking about it, how great of an answer it was, I realized it was like, I watched a couple of LMU games on opening weekend on ESPN Plus.
Go Lions.
Lions.
And go media for covering the Lions.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's great, and I know we talked about this with our guest last week, Coach Gasso, but really big hats off to the monster program that they are, going and visiting these mid-majors and raising money. I mean, LMU flew in bleachers. They had to like lower them in from the sky to allot for the amount of people that were there watching. It was packed. In my 4 years, I think there weren't as many as that one day. Like there were.
But to that point, that's the market for softball is there. Even at mid majors, even at Division 2s, Division 3s, like the marketing for our sport is there. People love watching it, and they're gonna turn up and show up and show out.
Oh,
love
I
that.
love it. You want to know what the answer that I was thinking of for that question? You gave such a profound, amazing answer. I was
It's
like,
the Diet Coke talking.
my
It's not
answer,
anything else.
my answer is going to be base running.
Listen, the base running was base running.
Listen, I love there's so many parts of the game that I love, right? You know, people are like, what do you like better, hitting or defense? I'm like, I don't know, man. I love seeing a hitter or a base runner see a ball that's going to drop and take an extra base. Like,
It's so pure.
there's so much that can be gained by really good base running, and there's so much that can be lost by bad base running. And I just really, you know, if whoever's listening, if you're a travel ball coach, high school coach, a player please practice base
Please
running.
practice that. That
Please do
stands
that.
out, like, in terms of,
Yeah.
like, you want to get recruited, you want to do, like, you want to have a
Yeah.
really high softball IQ. Like, I think that's where base running really comes into play. And you
Yep.
can, that's the difference between a win and a loss, because that could be the difference in one run of the ball game. You reading a ball correctly, taking an extra base,
Yes.
setting your team up for
Yep.
success to score more
Yep.
runs. And you know who's in my opinion, the best base running team that I have ever seen is Florida. They do such a good job. Coach Walton is one of the best at this, and his softball IQ is just out of this world. But they do such a good job of,
Yep.
and you're going to hear me say this a lot. I said it all last year. I'm going to say it again a lot this year. You don't have to actively win softball games. You just can't actively lose them.
Mm.
And a base running mistake is where
Yeah.
you lose them. But a base running, like, smart IQ base running play, that's how you win them. And Florida has always done such a good job of that. And they did it again this weekend.
The pipeline to the women's national team.
HPP has helped me find a new identity in like who I am as a player. It's helped show how hard work pays off, and it's really got me excited for the future of our game, the future for me, the future for my fellow athletes, and for what I strive to do in the future in college and then potentially with USA softball in the future.
I think one key there to take away from Florida is that the players are reading and they're trusting their instincts as much as they're trusting their third base coach. Like, that, I think, is something that there are plays where, yes, you need the help of your base coach. But for the most part, you check your outfield, you know that if that ball is going to drop, you go and you take. My favorite thing, like you just said, what you're going to say a lot. My favorite thing that I could ever hear and ever say is that a smart runner is a fast runner. You do not need to be speedy to be good on the bases.
Not at all.
I take an extra bases, and you have seen me run. It's not fast.
But it's smart, and smart
listen,
is fast. So therefore, it's fast.
Therefore, like, I should have had way more stolen bases in my career, but
they were holding you back.
They're like, you stay at first base, girl. Don't even think about it. But yeah, just the idea of using what you've got, and that's in defense as well. That's any part of the game. When you can trust in your stuff and you can trust in your tools and let them play, oh my God, the most amazing things happen.
Yeah. How great.
What I know we talked a little bit about Oklahoma because we always do. And for you Sooner fans out there, listen, we love the Sooners, and we are not wishing for their downfall. But
like a lot of people in the softball community let's be clear. We are not.
We're both Yankee fans, all right? Like, we get it.
We love and we appreciate greatness.
Although Oklahoma's won the big ones a lot more recently than the Yankees.
Don't get me started with the whole what is the meme we send each other when we're struggling? It's like, what, 5-2, bases loaded, and it's like all is going well, and then all of a sudden it just crashes and burns. Go Yankees, though.
Fly ball to center field.
But I know some people were hitting the panic button on Oklahoma, and it's like, listen, like they have won 4 straight national championships.
Yes.
You lose that powerhouse of a senior class, arguably, you could argue the greatest class in college softball history.
So strong.
You're in a rebuilding year. Like, I don't care what you say. They have probably one of the top 5 most talented rosters out there. Ella Parker played great this weekend, and she's going to need to be big for them throughout this entire year.
Yes.
But you can't expect them to continue to run. Like,
right.
It's not realistic. So for them to get tested early by you can call it lesser competition. Everybody starts the same level.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of February.
Yeah.
But it's like they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be
Yeah,
fine. They have
they
so
are
many
gonna
new
be fine.
faces that are contributing this year, and
Yeah.
it's Coach Gas. Like, come on.
We have faith.
In Patty, we
faith.
trust.
In Patty, we trust. And to see these kids too, like I think they had a 9-inning game against San Diego State. They had an 11-inning game against Long Beach State.
Battle.
They battled. They pulled out these victories. So hats off to San Diego State and Long Beach State for giving the best program in the country amazing games, incredible games. And on the flip side, Oklahoma, like you said, kind of a rebuilding year, kind of figuring out what things are going to look like. They held tight and they secured the victory.
They did.
So if panic, I don't see a need for panic anywhere. I see good softball being played. Like you said with your answer in the beginning of parity, it's like that
It's
play
across
is
the board.
It's across the board.
And you look at it too. You had Delaware having a relatively close game with Florida there for a little bit. They beat Michigan. Have we ever talked about Delaware on this podcast? No, but we will now.
No.
You had the FAU Owls take down Ole Miss and Clemson. Hoot hoot. They are 6-0. Jordan Clark is doing an incredible job with that program.
I love that.
Like I'm sure they're going to be ranked at some point this week, as they should be after beating Ole Miss and Clemson.
Yeah,
but there's just so much. You can't take a day off with this sport now.
Right.
And it's so fun to watch. There are no gimme games.
No gimme games.
No gimme games.
No gimme games. And for Delaware beating Michigan, that was their first ever ranked win in program history.
The Blue Hens? Is that their mascot?
I think so. I know they're blue. Yeah.
Hit a quick Google search.
We
love you, Delaware.
Yeah. No, and I love to see that, because you just see the growth of the game. You see, that teams are going and they're beating teams that they're not supposed to. But I think we're going to get to a point that there's not going to be supposed to and not supposed to anymore. No,
there's not.
Like the Chiefs were supposed to win yesterday.
That didn't happen. That's why you play the game, right? Like that's why you play the game. That's why you prepare. Like no matter what, And
I do want to say one of the coaches on Delaware's staff is Dorian Shaw, and that's a Wolverine right there.
Go.
That's a Wolverine.
Let's go. Built by Hutch.
Oh, we love it.
Built by Hutch.
But yeah, that stood out. That stood out to me. I really loved. I really wanted to see Nyjah versus Jordy in that Texas Tech Nebraska game.
My God.
I totally understand why we didn't see Nyjah pitching, but
yeah, you got to give the people what they want, though. As a fan,
yes,
but also understand.
When was the last time we saw a pitcher in the DP spot?
We had a friend of the program text us this and ask us to discuss this. Kelsey Stewart, we love you so much. Shout out Kelsey. Shout out K7 Stu. It's so interesting to me because we don't see it, but all of a sudden now it's happening. Jordy's hitting, Nyjah's hitting.
Mm-hmm.
There are a ton of power hitting pitchers that are in the 4 spot. What is your take on this as a power hitter?
Thank you. First of all, thanks.
Right.
I love it. I think that if you are one of the best 9 hitters in a lineup, you should be
in that lineup.
If you are one of the best 9, if you can swing it, let's see what you can do. And I think what we, when we were texting earlier off the air, you're going to see hitters get better with consistent at bats. And I think that is something where it's like, listen, we're in the first weekend, right? We have 5 games under these kids' belts. And that could be anywhere from a pinch hit at bat to 20 at bats, So getting these kids in and getting them seeing live pitching in a game environment versus practice or inter squad, these kids are gonna do it. If they can swing it, they're gonna see results because they're getting the time and they're getting that opportunity.
I love that point about the consistent at bats because I will die on the hill that pinch hitting is the hardest thing to do across all of sports.
It's so hard.
It is so hard. It's hard enough to hit when you're consistently in the lineup and getting, 3 to 5 at-bats a game. But to come in off of the bench and, like, am I going to hit today? Am I not going to hit today? That's a tough mental space to be in, let alone as a pitcher where you're like, maybe you're going to throw a complete game and get 4 at-bats. Like, that's a tough, just mental game to have to play.
Right.
So I like the consistency of, like, how good are they going to be when they're like 150 at-bats in on the year?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. And on the flip side of it, obviously, Nyjah didn't get the chance to hit much in her first 2 years. She did hit here and there, but it wasn't that kind of consistent across the board. And we know that, from everything we've heard, that, like, even talking to Jerry, her new head coach at Texas Tech, like, he was going to give her the chance to hit, and that was a big pull to her going to Texas Tech. Now, are we going to see pitchers and programs now scouting her as a hitter, now knowing how to throw her better? I do think there's a flip side of the coin of these players that are now maybe seeing a little bit more of the field, that flip side of, okay, well, now you're giving me data. So it's going to, man, every season's just getting better and better. Halo.
It really is. It's amazing. It's so fun to watch. There's so much parity, so much good talent, sports interplay. Did you see the Texas A&M left fielder make the catch over the wall where she caught it twice?
Literally count it for 2 outs. I'm just saying.
That was the coolest. I've seen a lot of really cool outfield plays. That was the coolest play I've ever seen in my entire existence. How fun.
Right? Like, even when you're messing around shagging in BP, nobody's done that.
No. You could try to do that, and you still wouldn't be able to do that.
You'd fall down a lot.
She wasn't trying to do that, and she still did it. Pure
it was
athleticism.
Awesome. And MLB posted it. My goodness. I just loved it. I loved that. That was,
And now everybody's like, oh, baseball's back. Like, and now the Super Bowl's over. Oh, baseball's now ready for baseball. It's like, softball's back.
Excuse me.
We've been here.
We're here, and we've
been here all week.
All week, baby. And we got more where that came from. We're going to be, softball's going to happen in Clearwater again this coming weekend. Oh,
Christmas.
Be so much. I think, where did I read that there over 3,000 or more regular season games are going to be broadcasted of regular season college softball.
The demand for it's there. The market for it is there. That's why this Clearwater tournament is such a big deal.
Yeah,
because you are getting primetime softball in the second week of the season, and you've got Alabama coming to town. You got Florida State. You got Oklahoma State's playing in it. You've got
UCLA.
UCLA is coming to town. You got Auburn. You got Kentucky. You got Clemson. You got Texas A&M.
You got
Liberty, Missouri. Like, you've got. If you are a young softballer, you need to be absolutely locked into your TV Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Period. End of story.
Yeah. Make sure if you get your extra reps in, that you do it before the games start, okay? Because we need you to go and study the game.
Absolutely. That's your homework. You record all the games that are played while you're at school, and then you come home and you watch the games and you study the games. Sam, any game in particular you're most looking forward to?
Clearwater. I just went through and I printed out the schedule because I'll be there Thursday and Friday. So if you guys, if any Bantees are out in Clearwater Thursday and Friday, look for me. I'll be the one with the bun. I don't know particularly matchups. I'm really excited to watch Liberty play in person. I think they've been kind of floating around that top 25 right around there for a couple of seasons, and I'm excited to see. I mean, I want to see them in person. But yeah, I'm excited to see some AUSL coaches out there, and Stacey Newman will be there, and then Lisa Fernandez with UCLA, Talon's GM. But
go Talons!
Yeah, I'm just excited to watch some good softball in person and kind of see it, looking at it as a perspective of not a player. It's going to be the first softball I watch in person. That's where I'm not a player. So,
how do you feel about that?
Depressed.
Icky.
We'll tune in next week and we'll find out how Sam actually dealt with her feelings.
That'll be question 1 next week.
I know we got, we're kind of revamping the podcast, and we're doing little different segments here and there. So I know this is shorter than the normal because we're gonna have another guest another special guest that we're going to film tomorrow. But any
So
last
excited.
words that you want to leave for the Bantees as we went over week 1 and what to look forward to in week 2?
I think it's important because we have a lot of youngins that listen to this. I just pay attention, and I may be stealing some of your thunder, and I would love you to chime in on this, but just pay attention when you're looking at these scores and you're looking at what's going on. It's not always the big logo that wins.
Oh,
Just continue to pay attention to that. Continue to watch some of these mid-majors, the San Diego States, AUSL head coach Stacey Newman. Hello.
casual. Hello.
Watch FAU. Look out for your Long Beach States. Look out for your LMU Lions. There are really great programs that are out there, and you don't always have to chase the big logo to be successful. The scores proved that in week 1. I think they'll continue to prove that as we get into the meat of the season and then, moving forward to the postseason. So just something to keep an eye on.
Oh, well, I couldn't have said it any better myself. Halo, thanks for dropping those nuggets.
Yeehaw.
Bantees, thanks for tuning in. We love you so much. If you see us in real life, please come say hi, and keep watching. And, I know Halo put it on her social media today. Like, we want to hear from you. So keep reaching out, keep telling us what you want to hear and what you want us to look at. And we are a podcast of the people for the people. So until we meet again, Halo.
Until we meet again.
All right, Bantees, rock and roll. Keep it real. Rock you like a hurricane.
Peace and blessings.